In the heart of the Pride Lands, a story of two brothers unfolds. A tale as old as time itself. One, a king destined for greatness. The other, a prince consumed by shadow, Mufasa and Scar. Their rivalry wasn't just a simple sibling squabble. It was the spark that ignited a firestorm, a conflict that would ripple through generations and redefine the very soul of their kingdom. This isn't just a story about good versus evil. It's a deep dive into jealousy, ambition, and the heavy weight of legacy. Let's rewind. Mufasa was the firstborn, the heir apparent, strong, charismatic, and wise. He embodied the ideal king. Everything seemed to come naturally to him. He was respected, admired, and loved by all. And then there was Taka, later known as Scar. As the younger brother, he was forever living in Mufasa's shadow. The throne, the power, the glory, it was all promised to Mufasa, leaving Scar with what? Scraps. This deep-seated feeling of being second best, of being overlooked, planted a bitter seed in his heart. It's a classic story of the spare heir, a narrative we've seen time and time again in history and fiction. The younger sibling who feels perpetually cheated by birthright. The story goes that Scar got his infamous mark, not from some noble battle, but from a treacherous scheme gone wrong. He tried to manipulate a herd of buffalo to tarnish Mufasa's reputation, but the plan backfired, leaving him with a permanent reminder of his failure and his resentment. He renamed himself Scar, wearing his bitterness for all to see. It was a declaration. He was no longer just the king's brother. He was a being defined by his wound, both physical and emotional. This moment was pivotal. It cemented his identity as an outcast, forever marked by his ambition and jealousy. When Simba was born, any sliver of hope Scar might have had for the throne vanished. This tiny, perfect cub was now the sole obstacle between him and the crown. Mufasa's joy was Scar's despair. You can see it in his eyes during the presentation ceremony. While the entire kingdom celebrates the new prince, Scar sulks in the shadows. He wasn't just a disgruntled uncle. He was a predator watching his prey, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His intellect, his cunning, these were his weapons. When Mufasa had brawn, Scar had brains, and he was prepared to use them for the darkest of purposes. Scar's manipulation of young Simba is nothing short of Machiavellian. He preys on the cub's innocence, his curiosity, and his desire to prove his bravery. The elephant graveyard scene is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Scar dangles the forbidden fruit, knowing full well that Simba's adventurous spirit won't be able to resist. He presents danger as a rite of passage, a way for Simba to be more like his powerful father. Only the bravest lions go there, he teases, planting a seed of reckless ambition. He's not just putting Simba in harm's way. He's testing the waters, gauging just how far he can push the cub and, by extension, how vulnerable Mufasa truly is. And then comes the ultimate betrayal. The stampede. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment crime. It was a meticulously orchestrated plot. Scar used his alliance with the hyenas, the outcasts of the Pride Lands, to create a crisis he could control. He lures Simba into the gorge, a perfect trap. Then, he alerts Mufasa, playing the part of the concerned brother. The genius of his plan lies in its cruelty. He forces Mufasa to choose between his own life and his son's, knowing Mufasa would never hesitate to save Simba. The moment Mufasa hangs from the cliff edge, pleading for his brother's help, is one of the most chilling moments in cinematic history. Scar looks down, his eyes cold and devoid of any empathy. "Long live the king," he sneers, before plunging his claws into his brother's paws and sending him to his death. This single act of fratricide shatters the natural order. It's the point of no return. Scar has achieved his lifelong goal, but at a terrible, soul-crushing cost. The sky itself seems to darken as he ascends the throne. But killing the king wasn't enough. The bloodline had to be severed. Scar's next move is just as cruel. He convinces Simba that he is responsible for his own father's death. He twists the young cub's grief and confusion into guilt, a burden so heavy that it forces Simba into exile. "Run away, Simba," he commands. "Run away and never return." It's a brilliant, wicked strategy. By making Simba flee, He eliminates the rightful heir without having to get his own paws dirty again. He has cleared the board, leaving the path to the throne completely open. With Simba gone and Mufasa dead, Scar's reign begins, and it is a disaster. The Pride lands, once vibrant and full of life, withered under his rule. Scar is a taker, not a giver. He allows the hyenas to overrun the kingdom, and their insatiable hunger throws the circle of life completely out of balance. The herds move on, the grass dies, the water dries up. The kingdom becomes a mirror of its king, barren, desolate, and consumed by darkness. Scar's rule proves that leadership isn't just about power, it's about responsibility. He had the crown, but he lacked the heart of a true king. He was so focused on what he felt he was owed that he never considered what he owed to his people and his land. Meanwhile, Simba, living in self-imposed exile, tries to forget his past. He adopts the philosophy of Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. It's a coping mechanism, a way to numb the pain and guilt that haunt him. He lives a carefree life with Timon and Pumbaa, detached from his responsibilities and his identity. But you can't run from who you are forever. The past has a way of catching up with you. His reflection in the water shows not a carefree young lion, but the face of his father. The ghost of Mufasa is always with him. The turning point comes when Nala, his childhood friend, finds him. She brings news of the devastation in the Pride lands and reminds him of his duty. But Rafiki, the wise old mandrill, who truly forces Simba to confront his demons. He leads Simba to a vision of Mufasa in the stars. Remember who you are. His father's voice booms from the heavens. You are my son, and the one true king. This is the moment Simba's journey comes full circle. He must stop running from his past and instead learn from it. He must embrace his destiny, not as a burden, but as a duty to his father's memory and to his people. The final confrontation is epic. Simba returns to a skeletal Pride Rock, a shadow of its former glory. The battle that ensues is not just for the throne, it's a battle for the soul of the kingdom. It's the new generation confronting the sins of the old. Simba versus Scar. Light versus shadow. The rightful heir versus the usurper. The fight is brutal, but it's the truth that lands the final blow. As they battle atop Pride Rock, Scar, in a moment of cowardice, tries to blame the hyenas. But Simba has learned from his uncle's manipulative tactics. He forces Scar to confess his ultimate crime to the Pride. I killed Mufasa. The revelation shatters Scar's remaining authority. The lionesses turned on him, and even his hyena allies, whom he so casually betrayed, abandon him. In the end, Scar is not defeated by Simba's strength, but by his own lies and treachery. He is consumed by the very flames he helped ignite, and devoured by the hungry followers he could no longer control. It's a fittingly poetic end for a king who ruled through fear and deceit. His own dark ambitions became his undoing. With Scargona, the rain begins to fall, washing away the dust and decay of his reign. It's a baptism for the Pride lands, a symbol of cleansing and rebirth. Simba takes his rightful place on Pride Rock, and with his roar, he restores a circle of life. The kingdom begins to heal. The grass grows green again, the herds return, and life flourishes once more. Simba has not just reclaimed his throne, he has redeemed his father's legacy and reforged his own. He learned that being a king isn't about power or proving your bravery, but about balance, responsibility, and understanding that we are all connected in the great circle of life. The story of Simba and Scar is more than just a cartoon. It's a powerful allegory about family, betrayal, and the path to redemption. It shows us that true strength comes not from avoiding our past, but from facing it. It teaches us that a true leader serves their people, while a tyrant serves only himself. The bloodline was tainted by jealousy and murder, but in the end, it was reborn through courage, truth, and a son's love for his father. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content.